Female scientists and credibility, Diane.
Yes, well, talking about publication, female scientists are less likely to be given authorship credits, an analysis finds. So Professor something or other, she works in New York University, can't remember her name, and she did this study between 2013 and 2016. Her name is Julia Lane.
OK.
And she looked at all these articles and she discovered that there is a discrepancy. Quite often, women will not be credited when they were key in creating something new. It also happens with the new graduates. You know, a few more male graduates will be acknowledged rather than the female graduates. But it's interesting when it came to the reactions as to why. Like when she said, so why do you think you were missed off?
Yeah.
What's interesting is that then 2/3 of the women went, it could be due to bias and discrimination, whereas all of the men went, I probably didn't contribute enough.
Right.
So that's a very interesting psychological difference as well.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for men and their humility and realism.
Sense of proportion.
Jeez.
I mean, I suppose the question is, none of us really have any idea, do we, what authoring a scientific paper is like, how many hours it might take, how many contributions it might take from how many different people. We are completely guessing here, and we're in the dark. But it does feel like there's maybe a culture of reference and recognition that is starting to be at least acknowledged.
Yes, and also, I mean, we work in a very different industry, whereas in, like, for example, in a television programme or a film, everybody gets credited. Like, everybody. Like, the person who got the coffee gets credited. Everybody. So it's interesting.
And then you fast forward through the credits because they're
you
absurdly long
nobody
now,
reads them.
I remember watching The Clangers. I used to love The Clangers. Do you remember Oliver Postgate? You did the narration and created The Clangers. It was an animated show. The only credits on the entire show for The Clangers were Oliver Postgate and then Pete Firmin, who was basically he's the guy who sort of did, you know, built the models and did. Well,
kids' TV shows.
That was it. Literally two people.
Kids' TV shows used to literally be like a face drawn on a spoon with a felt tip, and a guy's like waving it.
Now, the credits to like Noddy in the morning or like Postman Pat or something are as long as they might be for like Top Gun Maverick. It's anyway, this is obviously more serious. The one that always comes up though, which always makes me feel I don't know, because Rosamund Franklin, who was. Who contributed important images which allowed Crick and Watson to identify the structure of DNA. She's always given as an example of somebody who was left out of the science books, to the extent now which I think she is probably as famous to anyone discussing it. She took the photographs, which, I mean, photographs might be a slightly inaccurate word, but she created the images which allowed them to determine the thing. She didn't work out what it was. More to the point, she was dead before they awarded the Nobel Prizes, which eliminated her from being a possible recipient. The very fact that she is always given as the example makes me suspect that maybe there aren't more legitimate examples of people who've been excluded from scientific... Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
I don't know, maybe sure. But I saw it was in the same story. It was in the newspaper again on the same thing. If there were more legitimate examples of outrageous, you know, prejudice which have been shown by the scientific community in the past, do you think they'd start to bubble up by now? This was 1953 or something, I think.
Well, well, there we go then. Simon has issued a challenge to all the female scientists out there. Have you been missed out of your paper? Please contact us at GB News.